which are becoming even more connected and interdependent, will be moulded in the crucible of this fourth industrial revolution. We shouldn't see this through the prism of a threat to jobs and our social fabric. We should see the true threat as the failure of tech companies to appreciate the responsibility they have to wider society and the failure of policymakers to adapt. Ladies and gentlemen, the good news is that we're only just at the beginning of this journey. And if the companies and politicians at all levels of government can work together to shape the future of tech, then I remain optimistic that we can utilise technology to create fairer, more united cities and countries, and optimistic that we can work together to instil hope for a better, more inclusive future for us all. Thank you very much.
From Austin, Texas, the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. Mayor Khan is going to be the first British politician to give an address at the South by Southwest conference when he delivers his keynote speech later today. And if I understand correctly, Mr. Mayor, you, like me, are a Liverpool fan. And if that is, in fact, the case, I expect at least half of your remarks to cover the absolutely horrific officiating in the Man U match this past weekend.
Well, morning, Joe. It's an outrage, and I think serious questions are going to be asked about that referee. But like, I always use the words long-suffering before describing myself as a Liverpool fan, because you and I grew up on the glory days where our team did so well. But it's always embarrassing as the mayor of London, and we have 5 Premier League teams explaining that I support Liverpool. And you will know, Joe, you can change your spouse, you can change your job, you can change where you live. You don't change who you support.
No, you certainly don't. And chances are good, Mr. Mayor, we may meet up in London in early April when Liverpool actually goes to Stamford Bridge and plays Chelsea. Be very interesting to see you in Stamford Bridge cheering for Liverpool. So tell us about South by Southwest. Why are you coming to South by Southwest, and what is your message to everybody there and to America?
Well, I'm really excited to be here in Austin at South by Southwest. This is a really important tech conference, takes place every year. It's also a place where politicians, policymakers and the representatives of the tech giants come as well. And there'll be a number of things I'll be saying, of course, banging the drum for investment in London, but also explaining that, in my view, I think politicians and policymakers have vacated the field when it comes to the tech revolution taking place around us. Social media platforms have been a source of massive benefit and good. We use it to keep in touch with our loved ones, to keep in contact with friends, to access information, and it's great. But actually what we're seeing in the recent past is social media being used to incite hatred, to spread fake information, allegations of interfering with elections. And I think what needs to happen is that the tech companies have got to realise they have a social responsibility to make sure they're not amplifying messages of hate. And if they don't, I'm afraid we'll have more of the sort of regulation and legislation we see in countries like Germany, where they've brought in a law, Joe, where basically if the social media companies are used as a platform to have fake news or have hate language and don't put it down within 24 hours, they have massive fines. And I think us politicians need to have a conversation with the social media companies and say, you know what, you've got a responsibility. You've got a responsibility to bring people together rather than dividing them.
Right, and of course here in the United States, over 50% of Americans have Facebook as their primary news source. So if fake news is spreading around on Facebook and they don't regulate that, that actually is very damaging to an educated electorate. Let me ask you about how you and how the people of London and the people of Britain are now coming to terms with Donald Trump as president of the United States. Obviously, a lot of people in Britain, as well as in America, were concerned when he retweeted pro-fascist videos from a British radical party. Is there more of an understanding that Congress and members of his cabinet are actually more mainstream than Donald Trump himself, and that there still are places that we can work together with this special relationship?
Absolutely. I mean, the context is this. I don't think you appreciate how much Americans and America are loved and appreciated, not just in London and the UK, but around the world. You're a beacon of tolerance, of pluralism, of liberty. We enjoy your music, your film, your culture, some of the innovation taking place with the tech giants. One of the consequences of having a special relationship is very similar to being best friends. And when you have a best friend, of course you stand shoulder to shoulder with them in times of adversity. They are your closest ally. You work closely together on big issues. But one of the consequences of having a best friend is when you disagree with them, you got to call them out and say, you know what, I think you're wrong here. And the relationship with a best friend is different to the relationship with an acquaintance or with a long-distance friend who you see infrequently. And we're under no illusion that your president doesn't speak for all Americans. Many Americans, the people I meet on a daily basis in London, business people, tourists, students, those who are artists, and many others don't necessarily agree with the views of your president. And why would they? In a healthy democracy, you'll always get people who disagree with the winning candidate. I think the concern is this, though, Joe, that one of the reasons why we have a special relationship are our common values and the things we believe in. People in the developing world, people in all parts of the world, look to you as a country for inspiration, for leadership. And as somebody who loves America, you know, I think I worry about the perception people will have of your great country because of some of the things that your president may have tweeted or said elsewhere.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us. Good luck in Austin, Texas. It's a great town, and let's hope Liverpool has a good draw in the Champions League. Thanks for being with us. Hope to see you soon.